Welcome to the EUTalk podcast, a discipleship resource produced and edited by Utah Baptist Church. We pray our content encourages and equips you to grow deeper in the faith, closer to the family, and live a life of gospel focus. Thank you for tuning in.
Well, all right. Welcome to the EUTalk podcast. This is episode 12. And in this episode, we are covering the 12 things that we are thankful for from 2024. These are going to be general things, specific things. And to get us started off, I am Matt.
I'm Josh.
I'm Chrishana.
And I'm Kara.
The voice that you just heard is Kara Ivy. Kara with a K. You have been here at Utah, 24 years, going on 25. And in a couple days, retirement. So we're really thankful to have you here today. So I've been here a year. You've been here longer than that, which is going to be cool to see the things that we're thankful for from our church. This podcast today is brought to you by Hunt Brothers Pizza, specifically the little grab stall from Polk Mountain gas station down the road. You keep us running. We're thankful for you. Keep the light on for us.
That's right. And Krista's Corner and Dollar General.
Yep. Can't leave DG out of there.
And we can say Piedmont Market, too.
Yeah. It's a little further down the road. Listen, if you're in the vicinity, you're going to get shouted out to our 7 listeners on this podcast.
And for the Utah butt cookers who came out and did a lot for missions last week.
Yes, the butt cookers, a.k.a. What is it? The Boston butts, which I did not realize that was the shoulder of a pig.
That's right.
Until someone explained that to me this week. I have a lot to learn. Well, we're going to get started in the things that stick out to us. I'm going to start just with one, and we'll start going around the room to get us all the way to 12. But one of the things, in talking with my wife last night, in being here for a year, which is funny, not even a year, one of the things that we're thankful for is just how Utah rallies around people, just as a community and a church. Like it seems like, and just from an outsider, that the church kind of stands alone, and you don't really know where everybody's coming from. They have to travel some distance to get here, maybe, but that's just not how this community works. Yes, everyone knows everybody. But I'll take it a step further. They love everybody. Case in point, we saw that happen in the way that we were able to rally around Daniel Bruner in his heart condition. Literally had a church event, and the next day we realized Daniel was in the hospital because he was having heart problems, and then they're saying they're going to have to take his heart out. We're going to have to figure out.
And put a new one in.
Yeah. They're not just going to take his heart out. They're going to have to put a new one in, and I got to watch in my first few months here what it looked like for a church to rally around and fundraising, not just fundraising, but prayer and constant checking in on a group of people that just needed love in that moment. And so it was really encouraging to just see not one or two people, not a faithful few at this church, but the church, the body of believers that are represented in here, moving that way. And so I was super encouraged by that personally, and ultimately, like, I know Daniel Bruner's super thankful for it. His ticker's still ticking and doing really well. Doing really well as they walk into a new season of life. And so that one stuck out to me. Utah rallies. There's a bunch of different specific ones, but that one specifically for me. Yeah.
Good. I think one of the things I'm thankful for the most is just God's sustaining grace over our church. That God continually preserves and protects his church, not just Utah, but his church in general, the Church of Christ. Whatever church that might be, the local church is God's primary vehicle for driving the gospel to people.
Right. And what are some ways he's sustained us that stick out to you?
I mean, it's been an eventful year. And so there's been a lot of highs and lows, and there's been a lot of difficulty. The first quarter of the year was extremely difficult. Going into summer was difficult. Had to make some pivotal transitions, and God just sustained the church. And it's just been a constant reminder to me that, what he told Peter, that the gates of hell will never prevail against the church. And so it's his car, and he drives it, and he keeps it up.
That's awesome.
I've been thankful for that.
That's awesome.
Yep.
My turn.
You go. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So one of the things I'm thankful for is earlier this year, myself and my family, I faced some health uncertainties, and I can say that through God, peace was given to us. We weren't really scared. We just rolled with it. And he hasn't allowed me to suffer in that, really. I mean, make some changes health wise, but even with the uncertainties, he's strengthened me health wise, physically, spiritually. He also lets me know when I need to rest. So just very thankful for the peace and comfort that God gives us in difficulties and uncertainties.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that we saw, I guess to piggyback off that, was the way people have suffered in our community to begin with. The way people have suffered has been a great teacher in how to deal with it. To go off of with Daniel Bruner, and especially with what you're talking about, my wife and I were able to say, look at how filled with the Spirit you've been to be able to react in a way to really tough news, to then respond to it in faith and just peace and calmness, and
only way to be.
Right. And that's not easy. I think a lot of us in face of struggle like me may shrink back and run away, and you were able to do that, not just personally, but within the context of a lot of people being able to be there for you, which is cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a blessing to me.
I think one of the things that I'm really grateful for this year is that God is always working. Mm-hmm. He's out there doing something just continuously. So when we have seasons where we are more proactive in our faith and we're out there working with that, we see wherever he's at and what he's doing. But when we have seasons where we have to pull back with our families or our jobs or something, that he continues on and kingdom work out there and just allows people to work in that as much or little as they can. So with that, missions, this summer I got to go to Nicaragua, and in a season where I got to see how amazing he is in different parts of the world, I also see how amazing he is in our Jerusalem and our Judea. Mm-hmm. But, I needed that season of being out there in missions, and he healed me and restored me in ways that I had suffered in the spring with Mom's death and passing. And so very grateful to just always see that he's out there working, and all we have to do is join him.
Mm-hmm. It's like the mission of the Lord is constantly administering the gospel to us.
Yes.
While he's telling us to go take it to somebody else.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's good.
Can I roll off of that? Please. Because then one of the things I was thankful for a few weeks ago in a Sunday school class with the kids, some mornings on Sundays, you have to get up, you have to get ready, you have to come to church, you have to, And we just started a conversation of we actually get to come to church. Mm-hmm. So I'm so thankful we have that blessing in this country that we get to be here, and having that conversation with the kids was I'm just thankful for that, because I could see their eyes opening. My eyes became even more open because so many other places in the world, they don't have that opportunity. And so just going off of going to a different country, in this country, we're so blessed that we get to come to church. Mm-hmm. It's exciting. We're blessed, truly.
Yeah. That's legit.
Sorry.
No, you're good. That's it. We're at 5. I'm trying to keep track best I can, and if we go over, that's okay to be thankful for more stuff, but it's still going to be named the 12 things we're thankful for as we get to the 12 days of Christmas. But yeah, Josh,
I'm
go
thankful
ahead.
for one of the things I wrote down was just the number of families and individuals that God has added to our church. I think our church is the perfect church for families. Mm-hmm. And additionally with that, not only has God sent us families, but the spiritual growth is taking place in our families, from the children to the students to the adults, and you can witness it. It's it's not that we're a church that analyzes the metric of numbers. We're not oh my gosh, we're 20-30% bigger than we were. That's not what it's about. It's a family oriented church, and these families are growing spiritually. Yeah, and
we don't waste. One thing I realized, even in being in the ministry side of things, we don't waste a lot of time when you're in the building towards getting students, getting children, and getting parents, and all of those who influence each of those groups, getting them the word, which leads into the thing that I'm super thankful for. And you say it a lot of times during the pulpit, which is Do you have your Bibles? You're going to need your Bible here.
Oh, yes.
And it's weird when we're in a setting of worship and we don't need a Bible, that hits the members of Euto weird.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a wonderful teaching technique, and not just like that's a wonderful way to live. Like Beth and I were talking this morning. She's like, I need my Bible. If I'm going to grow, I need my Bible at Euto. And it's not about doing the things that are like godly things or godly adjacent things. It's I'm going to grow through the word that does the growth. Right. And man, that we've seen that in small ways, like in children's ministry, student ministry for sure, but even specifically just through the way, not that we open it to, but the way that you deliver it on Sundays. So I'm super thankful.
And Good News Club. I mean, we hand out Bibles at Good News Club, and to see the kids for the first time receive a Bible when they may not have one at home, or to find out they don't have one and we give them one in Good News Club, it's just amazing to see their faces, to be taught how to look up chapters and verses and where they can go to in the Bible for things if they're fearful or if they're hurting or if they've had a traumatic event in their home.
And Kara, you're talking about New Salem Elementary across the street from us, where we get to, for a portion of the fall and spring semester, go in and sit and teach after school. Kids who have to be there after school, who volunteer to want to be in a Bible study, they get to come. Yeah.
And not just our Good News Club in New Salem, but Good News Clubs throughout the world.
Yeah.
That
is awesome. I think we're at like 7. Anybody else want to go?
I'll just go in after that. So another thing I'm very thankful for this year is how the children here they want their Bibles, like you were saying. They're learning together. At a young age. They're learning together. They have wonderful teachers that come in and they teach them biblical truth. And through that, these children they're growing in their faith. And we see that weekly we started a prayer team for the kids, and I'm so thankful every week to go in there and ask them what they're praying about, because they're not saying, oh, I pray that I get a new toy. They're saying, I want to pray for mom and dad. I want to pray for my brother. Wow. I have this friend at school. I want to pray for my neighbor. They want to pray for people at church that they know are going through things. And so just their compassion and love for one another.
The mountain family.
Yes, the mountains family. Yeah. The mountain families. It's just, I'm so thankful for that group of kids that they truly love each other and they love others.
Yeah. Right. And I didn't write this down, but it could count as 9 or 10 or whatever we're on. Just bouncing off what Chrishana said, I'm thankful for the culture of prayer in our church. It blows my mind. I came in a little bit later Sunday because you were preaching, and I didn't have to preach, so I got here a little later and walked in and just witnessed prayer happening well before Sunday school ever happened. And that happens every week, not just by an individual, but by a team. And the culture of prayer has been something that God has, that He's done, and our children are witnessing it. They're witnessing it, and we continue to remind ourselves that without it, we're hopeless. Prayers are our number one strategy.
I think too, like you can use the words like strategy and initiative, and even use the word discipleship, and you're hitting on something. You even said it. You've kind of alluded to it, and what God is doing in the lives of adults here is you can witness it. It's not something that's talked about, but you can see it. And I think that just fits in, like, as somebody who, there's a ministry's talked about. It's a talking head thing. I mean, we're on a podcast, but like, as someone who's seen what it looks like to talk about it a lot, coming to a fairly blue collar community where people work with their hands, callous in their hands, like their Christianity's lived out that way too. And that's super encouraging for me. That was a bonus one off of what you said. So,
it's, I don't know. I guess I am grateful for this, but we'll probably go over 12. That's okay.
That's fine.
He says, be thankful for everything, right?
That's right. I'm not going to change the name.
Yeah. don't change the name. 12 plus some. Just the young individuals and couples that we continue to witness step up to positions of servanthood and leadership is unmistakable. because we've prayed for that for a long time, that people would step up, and people are stepping up. And once you turn them loose and let them go, it's amazing what they want to do, and that grows them. Yeah. So we're witnessing the generation today. The next, we always, you always say the church of tomorrow, but this next gen today, they are the church today.
Right.
God's calling out the called.
Piggybacking on that, I'm going to do my last one. I think we're at 10, and I'm going to just give 11. Being able to go to come in and then start planning on what we would do summer camp wise this past year, and take a few students and who don't know me super well, and then some leaders who don't know me super well, and then us be able to go to Caswell for the EUTalk summer youth weeks that the North Carolina Baptist puts on. Having been a part of a lot of camps where we put on our own camps, and it was a massive ordeal. So shout out to anybody that does that. But being able to take students to that camp and then trust the teaching as well as the discipleship model that they kind of had placed on a week that was meant to be a big week to go home to disciple was just unbelievable. Like I remember sitting there and realizing that I'm actively watching kids deal with the gospel and grow, and they're doing it in so many different environments and places and from all over. And that week that we were able to go to Caswell at the end of July into August was like a pillar, stone of remembrance for me in ministry that I'm going to look back on for a really long time. It got me so excited to be into the summer that we're going into this year, and I'm really looking forward to what we've got going on. But the students here are awesome, and what's cool too is they're all so different from one another, and yet they're all really close. They all want to grow, and they mesh so well. And man, they are so excited to be here, even on the days that they don't necessarily seem excited. Man, They love this. They love this group, and their parents make it a priority, and they do too. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and you just give God the glory for that, because He's unifying them and pulling them together. I guess, and if I can go ahead and do like my last one here, I think that's one of the things I'm grateful for, is that God continues to show me how through this journey of 24 years in retirement, that He's not through with our journey yet, that He's constantly, through preaching, through His word, through prayer, that He's renewing our hearts and our minds just continuously. He wants the church that He's created in each season for such a time as this. Yeah. And so it's by no accident or coincidence that the four of us are sitting in here today.
It's precision.
It's His precision.
There's been a time that brought us.
And so I say that to say that I'm excited for this next part of the journey, because Josh and I talked about it yesterday. This is my Jerusalem. And whether He takes us to the ends of the earth out there in different places where He has planted you in the seasons of life, and they change constantly. We constantly evolve and grow, and He makes us better today than we were yesterday. But it has to come through our conscious grasp of what He's saying to us as people, as His people, that we are His children, that we're supposed to embrace that we're supposed to depend on Him, that if we have a struggle, it's great to go to our Christian friends and other believers, but He wants us to come to Him first. He knows it. It's not a surprise, but yet we get to go ahead and just say, Lord, here this is. You take it. You say cast your cares on You. So we want to do that. So I'm thankful for this staff and for my church family here at Utah, because you guys are not done with me yet.
Yeah,
you just don't know that. So I warn you in advance.
I don't know what you're going to do next. The Lord knows. I'm excited to find out.
You live right down the road.
She's gonna pitch a tent. In the
she's
worship
gonna
center.
hang out.
You can camp back here.
Out.
Yeah. Sometimes it's cold enough to pitch.
Yeah. That goes without saying. I think we say it, I think, weekly to each other, which is really nice, but we're really thankful for each other. Yeah. And I'm thankful for you guys. Yeah. I think we can tell y'all finish the ones out if you haven't mentioned them.
I got one.
Yeah.
So we were talking about like relationships and stuff. So I'm thankful for friendships throughout this whole church and ministry. So you've got your children, and they're in their children's ministry. And they have they're brothers and sisters. They love each other. They fight each other.
Thunderdome.
They are like, I see lifelong friendships happening.
Right.
And a base to go into a group for Matt in the future, for you and
but
for adults.
Even in students, the friendships, I'm thankful you see them walking around and you see them wanting to serve together. You see them just together, doing stuff together, and they support each other.
Right.
In children's ministry, we have the greatest volunteers and leaders that come in and serve there, and we're all friends. It's like a family. So, us here at this table, y'all are family. So, and I think that it's just such a blessing. It's like God's design for community and fellowship here. And so I'm just extremely thankful for that. It's a blessing.
So you do have friends over the age of 10?
I do have friends over the age of 10. Okay.
Just joking.
Maybe not.
You hold a pretty high place in the minds of some very short people.
Well, I really like the short people a whole lot.
She can identify.
You're like the queen of the short people.
Yeah. The short people are humble and fully honest and
yeah, they are.
Yeah.
The no filters. You like hanging out with people.
I love the short people.
Filter.
And some of the kids are taller than me, so hey.
And they get your name right.
They do.
30% of the time.
They do. They sure do.
Miss Shonda.
Sweet.
I love it. All right. Anything else you guys want to add that you're thankful for? I know we probably could make this a 3-hour podcast.
I'm thankful for peppermint. If your black coffee is bland, just drop 3 peppermints in it and shake it.
Your black coffee's bland because I didn't make it for you.
No, it's good now. It's a peppermint non-mocha.
Well, we're thankful for all of our listeners and for Java Jeff's coffee. For
gas station coffee.
Gas station
Mountain
coffee
Market.
from Polk Mountain, from the Bun Coffee Machine. Thing is still going. I'd like to know how long that thing's been in service.
Forever.
Well,
so a good thought for our listeners would be that they can embrace this area of thankfulness from now until Christmas time as they go into this season. And just to be Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
Yep.
Don't forget Christmas in your Christmas.
That's right. There would be no Christmas without them. Hey, come to church on Sunday. We're excited to see you. Thanks for listening.
We are open to sponsorship.
Yeah, for sure.
You could give the money to missions, and it'll help support the podcast.
Yeah. That is exactly right. We're open. And if you have any funny things you'd like us to shout out. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks.